Guys, you know the voice. So finally to see the man behind the voice, I have the fabulous and gorgeous Andy Preston from FM 104 beside me. Hello Andy, how are you?
I've never been described as fabulous and gorgeous before. That's a good start. That's good for the ego.
This is the absolute truth, Andy, the absolute truth, because I feel that when people speak to you on the radio, and even before I even met you, I felt I knew you, because the way you speak out to the airwaves, it's like you are talking to your friends.
Well, that's the idea of radio, and that's something that was, kind of instilled in me, like in the really early days. I was always told to speak to one person. Don't say, hello, everybody. Speak to an individual person. Like, look at the microphone and just think of your best friend there, or your girlfriend or wife or something like that, and take it from there. Just speak as if you're having a conversation with them. So that's always served me really, really well. And anybody that's asked me for advice over the years, that's always something that I've told them. So that's what I've carried.
When you say over the years, I know it's over 23 years you're in FM 104. Not that we'd even think FM 104 was there 23 years. Where did you start from, and who inspired you?
Well, I started, for anybody who's old enough, they'd remember all the pirate stations of the 1980s before we had licensed radio in Ireland. At that point, during the 70s and 80s and before that as well, all there was RTE, Radio 1, 2FM, and they were the only licensed stations in Ireland. If you wanted to hear music on the radio, you had to listen to Sunshine 101 in Dublin, Q102, Energy 103, Nova, all of those stations, which of course are back now. The names have been revived again, simply because I suppose they were so well known back then. But I started on a little station called Radio Diamond, which was above the Star Snooker Hall. It was a roller rink previous to that. That was in Crumlin, and I was 13 when I started doing that. And from the very first day that I was there, I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Andy, do you remember the first record you spun?
Yes, I do. It was Los Lobos La Bamba, which I think was #1 at the time. So I remember sitting there, and these were the days when, you could just play your own records. Bring your own records in with you, put them on. And I thought, well, what better way to start with the #1 record at the time? So that was #1 back then. And it always makes me think back to that time whenever I played at a gig or something, Yeah.
Do you ever get requests for it still?
Yeah, I do. I don't bore anybody with the details. Oh, do you know that was the first record I ever played? No, I won't go there, but it always makes me smile.
So currently, who's your favourite record that you want to play when you're in FM 104?
At the moment, I'm loving a lot of the Irish stuff that's around at the moment. Tim Chadwick now is a new singer who's come along in the last year. He's got a great song out at the moment. I'm lucky that I like the majority of the music that we play in FM 104, and I always have. We're young at heart. We concentrate on the 20 to 44-year-olds. Probably a little bit more focus on the over 25s these days, and I'm well over 25, so that suits me perfectly. But yeah, a lot of the Irish stuff I'm still crazy about, the dance scene, and I like a lot of retro stuff as well. I kind of these days I listen to a lot of stuff from the 60s and 70s and 80s as well, when I want to get away from what's out there at the moment. You mentioned Rita Ora as well. Really like Rita Ora. There's plenty. I mean, I'm the type who can find something that I like in every genre. Be it pop, dance, rock, whatever. I've always been genreless, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. So my music tastes are wild and varied.
Andy, your career has spanned over 30 years. You are probably one of Dublin's most successful. I'm saying Dublin, I really mean like nationally, one of the most successful DJs. How do you keep current and keep such a huge listenership? Because you're PPI winning, and you've got like the 10 to 3 show, which is the most captive audience out there.
The way I see it is, it's just a job to me. It's a job that I always wanted to do. And I just see myself like it's just, get the train into work every day, get the Lewis, get off, go on, do the 5 hours. It's just a very natural thing to me. Not that I take it for granted or anything like that. I walk into the studio every day and think to myself how lucky I am. And it's something that I've just become more and more appreciative of over the years. I don't think about the numbers listening to it, as long as they stay at a reasonable level so I can keep my job. You know, every 3 months the figures come out. If they're good, great. I think that's brilliant. Okay, but I've got to worry about this again in another 3 months' time. The listener is the most important person to me. If they're enjoying it, I'm enjoying it.
Is it really strange for you, you know, when you go into Tesco, because nobody really knows your face because you're somewhat anonymous when you are a DJ, but then you go into Tesco and the look of recognition in their face when they see, I know that man. They feel they know you because they know your voice from every day. You're like a friend to them.
Sometimes it happens. You know, somebody said, you sound familiar. You don't look familiar, but you sound familiar. I said, oh, right. I didn't say anything now. And I went back to the same shop a few weeks. I know who you are. And he said, you're Andy Preston, aren't you? Yeah. Why didn't you tell me? And similarly now, I work in a club in Bray every Saturday night. And one of the customers came in. He used to come in every week. And it was only recently he said, I only found out who you are recently. Why didn't you tell me? I said I was Andy. And you never told me who you are. I said, nobody, you know, just the guy from the radio, that's it. But you know, that's the way I see it. You know, I'm just the guy on the radio, that's it. It's just my job.
So the guy on the radio, that's your job, but you hit the clubs as well on a Saturday night, so people do know your face. But do you remember where the club scene used to be? You would go in with your box of CDs and you would literally put them on and people come over and do requests. Do you still take requests?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're not pleasing the audience that's there in front of you, there's no point. They're going to walk off and go somewhere else. So, like, I'm always happy to take requests from people. If they want to mention for their birthday, they want to hear a song or whatever. That's fine with me. But I mean, you go back to the days like of using CDs. I go back to the days of vinyl. That's how I started. You know, like going to clubs, like carrying 2 or 3 boxes of vinyl on buses. But that was great.
So you were mixing the decks long before Calvin Harris was then, really?
I was. Unfortunately, I don't earn the same amount of money as Calvin Harris. He, as he said in his own words, you know, he just came along at the right time, right place, right time. Like, and I mean, what a talented guy as well. The music that he's produced over the years, and he's still going strong. His last track, everything, I think, is one of the best that he's put out in years. But maybe I could have done that. But look, I'm happy with my lot. You know, I achieved what I wanted to achieve, and I'm still doing it. So why complain?
So, Andy, we've hit on Calvin Harris because he's like really, really successful. And, you know, lately there's so much about mental health awareness because we've lost Avicii to a career that everybody from the outside looking in looks like he had the world, he had the money, he had the girls, he had the jets, he had notoriety. Is it anonymity of doing something like DJing, because you are on your own, you're kind of locked away from the rest of the world and you think people are listening, but you hope they're listening, but you're not really sure?
It can be a very lonely job. I will say that. I mean, sitting in a room for 5 hours a day has certainly taken its toll on me over the years. And you mentioned about mental health. I think everybody's going through something these days. I mean, my marriage came to an end earlier this year, and a lot of it is down to the way I've been over the years, and it was only when that happened that I just took a long, good, hard look at myself and just said I need to be a better person, not just for my children, for my family, for me. It really just starts with yourself. And, you know, here I am, I've lost a bit of weight.
You look amazing. You've lost an awful lot of weight.
Yeah, again, I mean, it's something that always held me back. It's something that was always in the back of my mind. All of the insecurities that I had over the years were just based on my appearance. And that may seem very shallow, but if you're not happy within yourself, how are you going to make the people around you who love you happy? So yeah, when it happened at the beginning of the year, I just took a long, hard look at myself, and I saw a meme on Facebook that said, would you like your daughter to marry a man like you? If the answer is no, change.